Hi, folks. I'm Larry Winget, the pit bull of personal development and six-time New York Times Wall Street Journal bestselling author. And today I am joined by Tami Jaffe. Tami, welcome. Tell us what you do for a living.
Hey, Larry, great to be here with you. What I do is I've made it my mission to help liberate professionals from the shackles of the corporate career so they can start, grow, and scale their own business and not only replace their income, but exceed it. So I want to help them get out of their job and become the entrepreneur they've been dreaming about.
All right. Some people, do you believe everybody should become an entrepreneur? I personally don't.
Absolutely not. It is not meant for everyone.
You know, there are a lot of folks out there that do preach, get out of your job and become an entrepreneur. And some people just are not ready. But when you are ready, how do you know you're ready?
You know, I think there's always that place in you that's like pushing you and driving you. It's like that feeling inside of you saying, you're ready. Let's make that move. Let's do something different. And I think you've got to be open to it, right? There's so many people that kind of just push it aside and no, I don't want to do that. I'm not ready for that. And being open, being honest with yourself about what you really want to do, and then having the courage to go try it out, take a step.
How do you coach people into the try it out phase?
Yeah. So, a lot of people are like, I don't want to try it out, right? You want to jump in or you want to do it or you don't want to do it. But you've got to start getting your message out. You got to start feeling about what it is you really want to do. And the only way to do that is to start having conversations with people, start talking to people about what their needs are, start understanding how you could serve someone else. I work with mostly service-based businesses. So they're serving people in some way or another. It could be a coach, a consultant, photographer, doctors. It could be many different aspects of how you're serving somebody, but you've got to figure out, what do your people really want? What are your people really need from you so that you know how you can really work with them? And the only way to try it out is to start working with some people. So get a few people that you start working with privately and see how it goes. You'll learn very quickly whether you're good at it or not.
What I hear you saying in there, though, you got to be real clear about the service you do provide and the value it has to others. And is there a market? Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. You've got to know that there's a market for what you want to offer.
So many people have been told by their cousin Bob and their great aunt Ethel that you'd be great at this. You ought to go do this for a living. Just because somebody says that doesn't necessarily make it the case, does it?
It doesn't, no. And there are some people you might not want to listen to because if they haven't been successful at what they're doing, they probably aren't giving you the best advice.
So what process do you take people through?
The process I take them through is, depending on where their starting point is, like where are they starting from? So someone at the very beginning, they're just trying to figure out what that next thing is for them. What is the right business for them? And the process we go through with them is brainstorming the ideas. What are your skill sets? What are your strengths? What do people say you're good at? How could you take some of those things and turn them into a business? What does that look like? And then once we figure out what is that market, what is that niche, helping them with their strategy, helping them understand how to get out there in the right way. And so much of what I do is about what do you do when in your business? Because as soon as you put that entrepreneur hat on, it's like the social media networks and Google, everyone in the world knows that you are now an entrepreneur and you get all of these ads and promotions for, you've got to try this. I've got the best secret that's going to make you millions, or the one ticket to, $100 million in funnels. Like there's so many ads and things out there. They're going to try to pull you in different directions. But if you don't know what you should be doing in your business, you can go down these paths where they're all great things, but they're not always right for startups. And so what I am helping a lot of the startups with is, what do you need to be doing when you're starting up? How do we get those foundations in place? And then when do you introduce different tactics, different strategies into your business so that you can have the most success and not waste a lot of time and money?
There are so many distractions, and we all are bombarded every single day by folks who don't have a clue who you are or what you do. or what you want to do, but they have all the answers for you.
Yes.
And if you'll just click here and send them some money, they'll help you out. It's just simply not that easy. And they have to really talk to somebody and go through this process. I think we're all, at some point, we've all fallen victim to some of that clickbait kind of stuff that can lead us down the wrong path. So it's very necessary for, if somebody's thinking about this, to actually talk to someone who's been through it and can guide them, offer some accountability, and ask really ugly, tough, hard questions, which is part of the process. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. Finding that expert that's been through there, understanding what it is that's made them successful. I like to compare it to, I had knee replacement surgery earlier this year. And before you do anything, people make it seem so simple, right? All those ads, all those people out there saying it's going to be simple. Well, my doctor told me before I had surgery, he's like, well, you sit at a desk, you'll be back to work in a couple of days. And 3 weeks after surgery, I'm saying to my physical therapist, I'm like, I still can't sit at a desk and I'm not sleeping through the night. Like, how am I supposed to work normally? And he's like, oh, that's all normal. And it's the same is true with our businesses. People's out there saying it's so easy, like you were saying, all these ads, these promotion things out there, but you've got to know what muscles to work. It's the physical therapist for me that was the person saying, okay, you've got to tighten this one muscle like 100 times a day before you can get up and walk. And you definitely can't get out and run a marathon until we've done some of these weights, we've done some of these exercises and all of these things, and there's a process to it. And the same is true with your business. You need to know what muscle you need to be working when. And when you're first starting out, sometimes it's just those small little things that you have to consistently work on over and over and over again to get it working for you the right way. And then once you do, you can take off and start running. But knowing what those are is so critical, and having an expert and someone that's been through that to help you through that is critical.
You know what a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand, because they've never done any research, they just start. They don't understand that odds are not in their favor. I mean, really, the chances are very high you ain't going to make it. And if you don't do what you're talking about and get the proper foundation and get the legs under your business so it can survive during the hard times, and just like you were talking about with your surgery, deal with the pain of a long time in there, you aren't going to make it. So you have to do this stuff to make sure you're one of the ones who survive. Am I correct?
Absolutely. I always say you've got to get comfortable with the discomfort, right? So just like I had to when I was doing that physical therapy and using some muscles that I didn't want to move. And like you, Larry, I'm sure as you're going through this with your back and what you've been through are probably going through similar things. It's like, it's discomfort, and the same is true in your business. When you're not used to using a particular muscle, you're not used to saying something a particular way, it can be uncomfortable. Doing those reach outs and having phone calls with people, it's uncomfortable. And you've got to work through the discomfort to get really good at it to make your business better.
Yeah, so many of them sure paint a happier picture than that. But if you're not prepared to hurt, you're not prepared to win either.
Absolutely. And I'd rather be honest with my people than to have them come in and feel disappointed later.
So when people are out there right now thinking, I've always wanted to do this, or I've had this idea, or people tell me I'm good at this and I'd like to try it, how would they know, listening to us talk here, that maybe it's time to take action and give you a shout?
Yeah, I think if you've been saying for a long time that you want to get a business started and haven't, it's a good time. If you have already started your business, but you still haven't made that consistent income, you haven't been able to replace your previous job income, then it's probably time, because there's something that you're not doing right. There's a piece of your foundation that's not triggering correctly. And so when we can get those things working right, then your business will start to grow and scale so much faster.
And if they want to take action and they just don't have a clue yet what they might want to do, is it still worth a call? If they're just in a total state of confusion, but also not satisfied, can you help them sort through that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been there myself. I've been in that place of, dissatisfaction at my job. I'd gone through what some might call discrimination at my job and realized that I had to do something different. But there was that time where I didn't know what that was. And it was actually a coach that helped me through that. And that's what I help a lot of my clients through now, is figuring out what is that next step for you? What are your options? So that you can go out and start exploring those options and figure out how to move forward.
Do you then believe that the dip your toe in is a better approach than quit your job, throw it all away, and dive in head first?
That's a great question, Larry. I think it depends on your circumstances, because there are people who have money sitting there that they can reinvest in their business and they have time to spend on it. But most people don't. Most people need to start off with their job still in place, getting their business up and running. And you can do both at the same time. I spent over a year doing both. I was going through coaching certification, working with clients while I was working full time as a senior executive at a Fortune 100 company. I mean, you can do both. And I had 2 little kids at home. So, there are ways to do it. And time management, I know, is always a concern for people. And, they always say, if you have something you need to get done, you give it to a busy person because they'll get it done. And when you are able to time block and figure out how to really focus, you get so much more done.
Well, when we look at what's going on right now in society, I think 2 months ago, the number were 4 million people left their jobs in order to pursue something new, was the latest number I saw. Whenever you start talking like that, that's when people come out of the woodwork to give you advice. And I have a belief that says never take professional advice from an amateur. And there are lots of amateurs out there who want to tell you just exactly what you should do. I think you have to go to a professional. And you have been through this before. You have helped other people through this. You went through this yourself in order to create your business. And they certainly should rely on someone like you to help them. How would people contact you?
Yes, the best way to contact me is Tami at TamiJaffe.com, or you can go to my website and I've got lots of resources there for you as well, TamiJaffe.com.
Give me right now, I bet you could come up with 1, 2, 3 things that people could take action on to do sort of an analysis and decide something they could do today to start moving toward achieving their dream.
Make the decision. I talk about this in my book, which is called You Already Made the Decision. You're just not happy with it. And the truth is you've been sitting with the decision. You've been sitting with where you're at. So make the decision. And when you want to make these big changes in your life, it starts with getting that clarity. So where do you need to get clarity? What questions do you need to get answered? You're trying to figure out what it is you want to do, how you're going to do it. So get with myself or another expert so you can figure these things out, because sitting in that indecision is really more of self-abuse than anything else. So make the decision so you can move forward and you can start living a better life.
All great advice. I know you're going to have a lot of people pick up the phone and contact you and want to talk about this, because there are so many people considering it right now. I appreciate my time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larry. It's been great.